I just realized I'm like matching with this screen. But what's going on, guys? It's Ricky here with TechBit Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Thursday night. I wanted to make sure that I make this video just kind of recapping the overall day. Today's earlier video was based off of pretty much calling out this sell-off, right? So I saw that tech and NASDAQ was very overbought. I pointed out the idea, and it was crazy because it literally started happening when I was filming the video. Believe it or not, I did have a position in SQQQ, as many of you guys saw. I locked in profits right away. I didn't expect it to go all the way back up to its previous resistance of $18, or I would have held. I mean, in a perfect world, if I would have known that this would have happened, I would have made 21K today, 22K. But I walked away with $3,000 in the green on SQQQ. But I need to share with you, that was for SQQQ. It was indicating signs of an uptrend, and when it got to 1758, based off of yesterday's aftermarket, kind of just like trading range, I decided I'm like, okay, this is going to be 1760. I'm just going to lock it in here, and I sold all of my position. It gapped up to highs of 1812. Now, of course, just like anyone, it's kind of the idea of like FOMO. This thing continued and continued to gap up. It didn't really pull back to like the last 10 minutes of the market close. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you is I then took a trade on TQQQ. And this is a perfect example of the cheap can always get cheaper. And it's crazy because I made a video calling out the market selling off and why I saw that, right? We saw the economic reports. We saw Meta selling off after it reported really positive earnings. We saw Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple all selling off. And that's kind of what gave me that sense of direction of if all these big tech companies that are in the $1 trillion market cap, NVIDIA included, right, the big five, if those begin to sell off, they're going to bring down the rest of the market with it. And that's essentially what just continued and continued to happen. The market sold off. I was with, SQQQ, so I was really enjoying it. But again, lesson learned. I ended up out of every single day, right? Since last week, I've had nothing but green days and pretty significant green days. It's been one of my best trading weeks. And yet today, when I had the most ideal setup on SQQQ, I locked in profits early. I then break my criteria and I go into TQQQ. The cheap can always get cheaper. And I went from $3,000 in the green to then losing, I think it was like $5,500 on TQQQ and walking away with $2,500 in the red. I shared it on Instagram. I shared it on Twitter. I wanted you guys all to see that even when I had the right idea in place, the right idea in mind, I want to share with you why I feel like I got to that point. I don't know if a lot of you guys are going to relate with me on this, but hear me out. Have you ever entered a trade too early? And when you enter that trade, it doesn't go exactly according to plan right away. And it kind of like drags you along for a little bit, right? That's kind of how I felt with SQQQ. Then finally, my trade goes according to plan, market sells off, and when market sells off, then SQQQ begins to recover. But when I see that I'm in the green, I'm almost hesitant to get out right away. I kind of don't even want to tolerate. I'm exhausted of already being in that position because of what it's already put me through. So then I sell early, it continues to rise, and then I'm just like, dude, this is literally going exactly according to plan. If I would have just stuck to my plan, how much money would I have made today, right? But guess what? I can do something that's very simple to kind of change that approach. I should have just not even bought in early, right? Then I would have not felt exhausted. This just, again, reinstates the benefit of waiting for confirmation and making sure direction is favorable, and instead of trying to predict the future, to really allow the opportunity to present itself. And that's my question to you. Are you allowing the opportunity, the trade opportunity, to present itself to you, or are you forcing and hoping for it to happen, and then when it does, you either are happy or you're exhausted by the time that it does, that you just want to get out, right? I don't know if this is something that's going to make sense to all of you. You've probably had to have been trading for maybe a couple of years to know what I'm talking about, but nonetheless, I wanted to share with you, just like I've said before, both my green days and my red days. One thing when it comes down to the different economic reports set to be released, we got PCE prices all being released pre-market, and also personal income spending. PCE prices are something that the Federal Reserve really pays attention to, so I think it's going to be quite interesting to watch NASDAQ 1 hour before the market opens, right? Because that's at 8:30 Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. Let me go and share that with you right now. You can see that PCE prices and personal income spending all released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's going to be super, super important to pay attention to. We also have employment cost index that's going to be released with that, and then the Consumer Michigan Sentiment Report that's going to be released 30 minutes after the market opens. So again, just another reason. This is something that we'll talk a little bit more about during our live session with the LPP team tomorrow. I would love to have you there, right? You get to see both my good trades, you get to see my bad trades. You get to hear my thought process behind every single trade. And in my opinion, it's a lot of fun. I would love for you to be there. And if you're ready to watch, it's the second link in the description down below. If you have any questions before joining, shoot me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram. And that's the first or third link in the description down below. I really hope that it earned your thumbs up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.